Well, it's the 6th of May and I'm going camping with 3 other people. My normal friend I go camping with every week, and 2 others, one from London, one from Wales, and we all used to know each other as kids. In fact, we all used to camp together as kids, because I've been doing camping from an age of about 11 by myself. My parents let me go. Unbelievably, in the early 70s, that was okay, apparently. So my first wild camp was when I was about 11 or 12. I might have been 12, and we all disappeared. I didn't tell my parents where I was going, but they phoned up round my friends and found out that we all disappeared and had gone camping. So we're going to have a meet-up. We kind of met each other via Facebook, probably 10 years ago now. So we're coming back as a group to go camping today, and we're going to go down to a place called Rocken End. And I've put it in previous videos, but it's the very southernmost tip of the Isle of Wight. So when we get there, there's a big sort of level area where everyone else wild camps as well, and they have parties down there and other things take place down there as well. But anyway, I'll show it to you when I get down there. I've got to drive to Ventnor, or Shanklin first, then Ventnor, and then we'll start walking from Ventnor. So only a 10-mile walk in, but it's enough, I think, for today, and it's probably going to rain. So yeah, I've got all my rain gear with me. Normally I don't carry rain gear. I'm pretty optimistic, but the weather forecast looks a bit iffy. Anyway, onwards and upwards. Well, the rain's eased off, so we're walking through Ventnor Park, and we're going to make our way to the coastal path. I've videoed this many times before in previous videos, but I'm still going to film it because it's quite a nice place to walk. But it is very dull and very wet, but the rain's going to go away, and apparently towards late afternoon it's going to get quite sunny. We'll be on the coastal path soon, and I'll show you where that starts. And it's going to be coastal path all the way until we get near to our destination. They're going to veer off, go south, and come down and camp at this very well-known wild camping site. It's very sort of grey and still at the moment. The rain's passed over, but I think the sun will come out later. Coastal path is just down there. Looking back towards Ventnor there, try and zoom in a bit. That's Ventnor. Coastal path. Steep Hill Cove is down there. That is the coastal path, but we're going over the top of it. So we're avoiding the coastal path for about 400, 500 meters. But then we'll be back on it in a minute. What a beautiful house. Let me zoom in a little bit. Probably cost in excess of £1 million, but look at that, you've got your own beach. Beautiful. There's a footpath down here. You are allowed on the beach. I'm sure they don't love that, but what a beautiful property. There's little bays studded around here all the time, so we go around that point, there'll be another bay and another bay. It's a beautiful area. As I mentioned in previous videos, I actually love this place, or love this part of the coastline. I'm going to be leaving the Isle of Wight. I keep saying soon, but it will be soon. So I'm moving to the mainland, probably to Scotland or Wales. I don't know yet, I haven't made my mind up. It's one of those sort of hinge points in your life where things have really changed for me. So I've not made up my mind where I'm going to settle, but in the short term or medium term, I'm going to go walk the coast to coast, probably the West Highland Way, Rob's Roy Way, but I'll miss this part of the coastline without a doubt. And I don't know if I'm going to stand on that or not. Give it a try. That's Woody Bay, beautiful little bay. We might make our way to Binnall Bay. We've not made up our mind yet. And as I mentioned in previous videos, the coastal path turns up there. We're going to go that way, so we're not quite sure yet. Yeah, crippled path to Knighton. Apparently that's got nothing to do with crippled people, it's just the shape of the path apparently. Well, see that cliff? So we're under the cliff at the moment. The bench coming up, we're going to have a break. So look at that, quite spectacular. Oh, quite a hard pull up though, it really was. Let's zoom in, let's get on that bench. Then, as you can see, This is called the undercliff, this whole area, because we're under that cliff. Onwards and upwards. That man in the orange coat is my colleague, or friend I should say. So that's the undercliff bit there. It is an easy hike, except for this bit, honestly. So the path's been closed here due to erosion. So we're gonna basically divert. This is the coastal path, but we're gonna make our way through this field into Knighton. So we're walking across this field and then dropping down into Knighton, which is spelled N-I-T-O-N. So that's the lighthouse down there. I hope I can see what I'm doing. I can't, the sun's in my eyes. So we're heading down there along the beach. This bit here is called Watershoot Bay. Beyond the point is called Rock and End, and that's the southerly most point on the Isle of Wight. Little site there, by the way, as well, where people sit and have barbecues. So this is where we're going to stay. There's a fire here, a bit of rope from boats. A lot of flotsam lands on the beach here, being the southerly most point of the Isle of Wight. I'll probably stick up over here. And that looks like spring onions to me, from Egypt, of all places. So someone's got a bit of a tarp going on there. That could have been my friend that's done that. Anyway, I'm gonna pitch up here. Just here will do me. Yeah, that's fine. Let's pitch up now. I don't think it's gonna rain for much longer. The sea's in the distance there, by the way, guys. One tent, two tent going up, my tent's going up here. So let's get going. I just got my water from this river. Basically, I use a Grail, G-R-A-Y-L, GeoPress, which gets rid of the sediment, bacteria and viruses, unlike the Sawyer mini filter. So that's why I trust it. It's quite heavy though, but if I'm going to get water from places like this is flowed through agricultural land, I'm going to use my Grail GeoPress. Here I'm using a Soto Windmaster stove. I'm also using an ever new 0.9 litre titanium non-stick pot with a small frying pan. I've recently got over to using vegetarian food and boosting it with dried egg and tuna. Well, here's my tent. Let's zoom out a little bit. We'll zoom in, I'll zoom out actually. There's my tent all set up, and do you know something? This is the first time I've had a cup of coffee ever camping. I never can be bothered normally. I don't bother with tea or coffee. I think it just slows you down in the morning, etc, etc. But late at night, I've decided, the sun's going to set in a minute as well, 2020, that I'm going to have a cup of coffee, and I'm quite enjoying it. We've got a little fire going down there, so I'll show you that later. And we didn't light it. There's someone else down here. He's a bushcraft guy. He doesn't want to be named, but he lit the fire and we're quite happy to have him down here. As a wild camper, I don't normally light a fire. There's swings everywhere. I'm not going to go on them because I don't want to break my back. So yeah, I'm set up here. I need to tidy up a little bit, but my first cup of coffee camping. I'm quite proud of that. So we've got a bit of a fire going. So let's zoom in a little bit. Yeah, we're enjoying ourselves. And we were just talking earlier on, we used to be around a fire 50 years ago, around that time. Here we are at 63, still doing the same thing. So there you go. I'm eating. It's 6:20. I went to bed at 2 o'clock, so I've had 4 hours and 20 minutes of sleep, interspersed with the worst cramp I've had for a long time. I suffer from restless leg syndrome. And that's all part of my condition, so I get cramp at the same time. And I was just driven mad all night. So you can say I've had a bad night's sleep, really. Plus, because I was awake, I keep hearing the pheasants around me. So you might say, well, Lawrence, pheasants are quite common in the countryside. There's a caveat here.
The pheasants have flown off the cliff behind us, this inland cliff. Many years ago, it could have been when they're first introduced, and they survived down here. So nature's worked, because these birds are normally fed by gamekeepers, etc. But here, they've escaped from the farms, flown over the cliff. They can't fly back up because it's a couple of 100-foot cliff, and they survived. So they could have been here for many, many years. All you hear all night is pheasant calls. So it's not disturbing, but the fact they survived down here is really good. So we had a really good chat last night around the fire and etc, etc. We met this bushcraft guy who lit a fire. He doesn't want his name given away, that's fair enough. So we had a really good night. In fact, I should have filmed some of it, but I was having such a good time, like going to a music concert where you don't film it, you just enjoy it. I just enjoyed it, so I decided not to get my camera out on my phone or whatever to film it. So yeah, I've had 4 hours of sleep, but I'll survive. Well, I'm up and about now. 3 tents down there, my 3 friends. Tarp, which is down here already with a fire behind it. I'll keep my voice down so I don't wake those people up, because it's only 7:04. We went to bed at 2 o'clock. I've had 4 hours sleep. I'm up now. But you can hear the sea, the tide's coming in. It looks absolutely beautiful down there. Yeah, you really connect with nature down here. But you can see it's not exactly a place where other people don't come to. It is an isolated place, but kids come down here, etc, etc. But hopefully, I start zooming a bit, you can see the sea is just behind us and the tides come in and it looks absolutely beautiful. It's a really sunny day. Yesterday was a little bit rainy. We didn't get wet at all, hardly. So now we're looking forward to having a nice troll back to our cars and then driving back home. I'm on my phone because I can't find one of my little wireless Go transmitters or receivers for my RX02 camera, my Sony one. It's a lovely little camera. I've got my complaints about it, especially with batteries, etc, and I'll probably do a video on that. But at the moment, I'm on my phone and hopefully it looks all right. Now, what happens when the mackerel run through in the summer, because this is the most southerly point on the Isle of Wight, they get trapped in the rocks here at low tide. Now, what happens then is the foxes come down, the local foxes, 20 or 30 of them, and go through the rock pools eating the mackerel. So they know the mackerel will be trapped at a certain time of year, so they're waiting on the beach. So that's nature at work. These foxes have to survive. And it's very easy to be kind of philosophical or spiritual down here, and I don't believe in that spiritual feeling. What it is some people say it's being connected with nature. What I say is this: when you look at this, all your other problems go away. Your bills, your family, your relationships, your car, your job becomes unimportant. So we packed up. You can see the fires, but we didn't like that one there. We had one under there. So that's a pheasant down there. So we're leaving site now. We've taken everything we brought down, but there's cans left here and traffic cones. So it's quite a popular place with kids and stuff like that. Do I sound old? Probably I do. Oh. Oh! Yeah, that's Watershoot Bay. Rocking ends around the corner. Beautiful place. Making my way up there. There's the lighthouse. Looking back. Just a bit of bling, really. I'm going to shut down now. It's all road back to the car. I was going to walk across the top path there, top of the cliff there, the undercliff. But, you know, I have to catch up with the guys who've gone ahead of me. As I told you, I lost my Rode Wireless Go transmitter, one half of it. So the other half is in my pocket, which looks like this, which attaches to the camera. The other one is somewhere in a bush, within 20 yards of me leaving the campsite. It's somewhere there. I couldn't find it. I searched up and down, so I lost about 20 minutes or half an hour, and there, because half an hour ahead of me on the top path. So I'm staying on the road so I can get back quickly to take my friend back to the ferry so he can get home quickly. Anyway, I'm going to switch off now. It's been a good camp outside of me losing £180 worth of
well, equipment, because I know if I ask for a transmitter, I'm not going to get one from Rhodes, so I have to buy the whole new kit again. Well, back at the car here, job done. I'm really annoyed that I lost half of my Rode Wireless Go, but that's life. And I had a great time, so I'm not moaning too much. But let's get on with it now and get home. So yeah, I've got to take my friend back to the ferry. So job done.